Aston Villa Women podcast. We're talking all things FA Cup transfer news, injury news, and all things in between this evening. And of course, I can never do this by myself. I've got the lovely Lindsay and Gary with me. How are you both? Good?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. I like that Lindsay was just like, I could reply, but I'll just
I was
not.
letting Gary go first because I always talk too much.
Gary always talks too much. I was giving you the opportunity to go first as well. Whenever we spoke, I was like, well, this is awkward.
I was
Ladies
going to
first,
say,
Gary.
between the two of you, I've got no chance tonight. But we shall try and we shall carry on. Because it's been quite the week, hasn't it? So of course it was fourth round of the FA Cup at the weekend. All matches on Sunday. I think there was 12 matches altogether. I, for some reason, went, yep, I'm going to live stream this and live commentate it. With the Spanish and the Italian leagues at the same time, so that was quite fun. So yeah, lots to talk about this evening. And the first thing we wanted to address before we get into the actual game, a bit of injury news came out today from Villa themselves, but it wasn't really an injury update, was it? It was kind of confirming what we already knew. So of course,
They
people
did it the
who
wrong day. They scheduled
well,
it for the wrong day. They did what I do, put it in the wrong week, and it just.
well, that's the thing. And it was very much, we all kind of knew these people were missing at the weekend anyway. No excuse, no, not an excuse, reason. No reason was given then. And then today it just kind of came out like, yep, Rachel Daly's out. She's had a minor operation, minor surgery. Then Chaz and Paola are out, and so is Lucia, and that's it. And it got us talking, didn't it? A couple of seasons ago, maybe 2 seasons ago now, they did these lovely injury update graphics every week, and it was who it was, what the injury was, how long they're going to be out, expected return. And as fans, that just helped keep us in the loop, didn't it? And we weren't constantly guessing. So, yeah, Lindsay, what would you recommend to Villa if anyone from Villa is watching this evening? What would the fans like to see in terms of injury updates, please?
I like how you pick on me. I think we haven't really had proper updates since like Carla Ward, and it would just be nice to have that transparency as fans because we want to get behind the players and we don't want to rely on their social media platform to inform us of injuries and things that are going on. If you don't see a player like Gabby, for example, we didn't know about her surgery until she posted it on her personal pages, and it's fine. The club are secret, and there is a line between privacy and professionalism and all that, and what fans should have access to. Absolutely for that. But there should be a little bit of transparency for the fans that turn up week in, week out, because a lot of them made the trip to Arsenal going, we're going to see Rachel Daly, we're going to see Rachel Daly. And they're like, why is Rachel Daly not in the lineup? And when you've got players like that that are big shirt sellers, you kind of owe it to the fans a little bit. Even if you just say so and so's out injured or so and so's out injured and they're going to be back in a couple of weeks and you don't disclose the injury, then you do need that transparency. We've seen it with other clubs. They're like, oh, so and so is going to be out for a little bit. We've seen it with Ella Toon and Man United. They're not ones that come forward with it, but they've done it. And it's like we just need to know when the player's hopefully going to be back, and we can wish them well and say, please get well soon and come back. We miss you at Villa Park. That's how we want it to be. We want it to be healthy. At the moment, it just seems like we're kept in the dark, and it's not a good look.
It just feels like everything's an afterthought, isn't it? Like, oh, well, yeah, oh, we'll share it eventually, that kind of thing. Gary, how do you feel about it? Do you think communication could be better from the club?
Communication could always be better from the club.
Yeah.
It has been a bit of an issue the last sort of season or two. Injuries is probably the biggest one, but you know, I do think that they're making improvements. But we have always sort of spoke how the social media actually was. Like last season, we kept sort of slating the social media a bit because it was sort of non-existent. Like
Well, it was non-existent, it
even
was
when
really
Maz was
inconsistent
still
as
a
well,
player,
yeah. Yeah.
but Maz was even a player for us still, and even her vlogs has started to disappear. So
Yeah.
I don't. At first, I thought it was something that RDP had sort of maybe brought in,
Yeah.
trying to be really disciplined.
Mm.
But the fact that it's got marginally better, but it hasn't got much better, it makes me wonder: has it been a decision from somebody else in the food chain that's tried to restrict how much knowledge that they give us? And it's like, but do
how
any
much
other
kind of
clubs do this?
yeah,
It would
behind
make
the
me
scenes
wonder if
knowledge.
any other clubs have stopped or being less frequent with updating their injury lists.
Well,
Is it a common thing?
Well, that's interesting because Couture, our good friend Couture, is in the chat. Chelsea fan, of course. We are going to talk about Jean-Francois. Don't you worry, mate. But yeah, it's an understandable thing about injuries. Don't let people know because then opposition might get ahead and they might use that information. So we can understand from that perspective. Of course, we can. It's just very much like you say, if you're expecting. You shouldn't ever expect to see a team, but if you don't think anything's wrong with them, then it's just a bit of a shock of like, oh, why they're just in their joggers? Why are they not in their training kit? Because of course people were saying, oh, Rach isn't in the squad, but she's there. And people were saying, oh, is she ill? Is she not feeling well? And I think I even said on the day, oh, we think it's sickness, because why wouldn't she be playing otherwise? So yeah, it's just that continuation of we've got some things going on behind the scenes. Don't worry, this is the time frame we're currently looking at. Just something that's consistent. And it's even because I know we had the social media team changed over and we were getting lots of training footage and stuff, weren't we? And it feels like even that's gone again, doesn't it? So it's very much, is there just a lack of social media people that are there for the women's side at the minute? If so, give us a shout, we'll do it. But yeah, it makes you think. When you look at Chelsea, for example, they're doing things with Skoda and they've got people hosting that and they've got their podcast that they do, and there's just so many different angles, and that social media is helping the club and the fans to grow, and yet we're struggling for it, and it just makes you wonder why, because there are so many passionate people who want to see the club succeed. So yeah, it's just a bit of a big question mark.
I did see the comment come up there on the screen saying that the fans don't need to know if the players are injured, and that it's sort of not letting the opposition know.
Yes.
But it doesn't have to go on the public social media, because obviously Aston Villa have their own WhatsApp group that we all get information from
We've got the
that
channel,
doesn't go into the public eye. So they have methods that can be used that the other clubs don't have access to.
Yeah. Or emails as well. If you're signed up to the Villa email system, then that could be an injury update there. And then of course it's up to people to then not share it, but it's just making the fans feel valued is what we're trying to say, isn't it? And just that mutual respect there. So Rach Dilly is going to be out for the foreseeable. I think I said next few weeks, didn't it? For her. But again, who knows? Who knows when she would be back? Because she was a player that was definitely missed, I think, in this match. But we will talk about it.
But recent weeks, obviously, Rachel's been in a wee bit of form and has sort of scored, 3 goals in the last sort of 3-4 weeks. That's going to be missed whenever you only have a handful of goal scorers in the squad.
And that's the thing, because we're going to talk about players who maybe are lacking a bit of confidence at the minute, and just how Natalia's choosing to set up the team. It feels like we are struggling for depth a lot at the moment. Because we've had 2 in the transfer window. Nothing new since we last saw everyone. We've got Jean-Francois from Chelsea, of course, and Jenna Niswonger on loan for the rest of the season. But ideally, we have been talking about, ultimately, we need a couple more for our depth, because we are a bit injury prone in certain positions, aren't we? Lindsay, is there anyone, maybe not even a name, but is there an extra position that you think ideally in the next week or so you'd like to see come in, even if it's just on loan, to help us out?
Well, I'm just going to say it. We missed Sarah Mailing in that game. So I just would like Sarah back. But I know that we're moving forward and she doesn't fit the plans till the end of the season. But I think that was someone that we really missed. And position-wise, I just think we just need to strengthen what we've got, because we've got enough bodies. It's just making sure that they're firing right and they're performing. And I think that's more, personally for me, where we would be looking, and also looking to protect Kirsty Hanson a little bit more, because if we lose her, she's instrumental.
Which exactly that. And actually, Gary, you had a little bit of an idea, didn't you? Because we were talking about Millie Round's goal for Stoke at the weekend, and it could be, instead of putting Kirsty up front and relying overly on Kirsty, you maybe had the idea that we put youngsters up front. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, sort of since we let Kenza go a year ago, we haven't exactly had a number 10. But keep
No.
trying to sort of put, round pegs into that square hole, and it's just not working. We've tried rates there. Obviously, Lucia and Missy have kind of had variations there, but I sort of suggested giving Kirsty a free role behind the attackers and giving Millie and Georgia a chance up front. Because at the minute, we don't have any strikers that are scoring. So our two 20-year-olds really going to be a downgrade. If anything, they're going to be fearless. They're going to want to go out there and make a point. And giving Kirsty a free role,
Yeah.
the defenders won't know where the hell she is. So it would be much, much harder to mark if you don't know where the pitch is going to be.
The more we talk about it, the more I really like this idea, because you're right. If you've got youngsters coming off the bench who, they're not comfortable in their position, they're fighting for it, they've got the passion for it, they want to make it into the first team consistently, so they're going to give you everything, aren't they? So yeah, if Natalia is watching this, recall Millie, and get her playing for the rest of the season. Give her the chance up front.
It makes me wonder if that's what the dual registration is. Because obviously she's dual registration, so if we need her, we can bring her back. And I'd say right now is actually a decent time to give her a chance with no informed strikers and Rachel out injured.
Well, I was reading something. I don't know if it was in our chat or if it was somewhere, but it's like, if you, depending on how many clubs you are registered, I know you mentioned dual registration there, but you can still play for both clubs in that calendar. So because she hasn't got any first team minutes yet, has she, Millie Round? Or she might have been on the bench.
She came off the bench for Stoke at the weekend and did actually score. It was a beautiful goal.
For us, sorry.
For us? I don't think so.
I don't think so. So this would be like the perfect time.
I'm sure when I was playing, like, and we were dual registration, as long as it's not for the same team in the same another team in the same league,
like conflict of interest.
So there are a lot of people that were in academies that were also playing local football to get more experience and more minutes.
Yeah.
And so she has that opportunity. And the other benefit that we have is that she's an unknown quantity. So when you say we're bringing Rachel Daly on, you know exactly what you're getting. You know exactly how to manage her and get the best out of her. And as a defender, you know how to play it. If you've got someone that's a youngster that's maybe a little bit erratic in their decision making because they haven't got the experience to make I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, then you don't know what they're going to do. So then you're like, well, do we mark them, do we not? And then that creates the space for either they'll get marked out the game and it'll give Kirsty space to run it in, or they'll mark Kirsty. She'll then, as soon as she releases the ball, they're off. And the speed on them, I mean, I'm sounding old now, but the speed on some of these youngsters coming through is amazing. And not all the defenders in the WSL are quick. Some of them are just a presence rather than quick and easy. You can run past them.
Speed.
They're not going to catch up with you.
Yeah, then you can be through on goal and away. Yeah. So I think there's got to be some sort of plan, because I'd be quite disappointed if nothing else happens in this window, because I mean, we've seen Leicester today confirm another signing. One of our ex-players, Alicia Lehman, is officially officially a Leicester player now, so they've got Sarah and Alicia this season.
That's three of our former. Well, I suppose Sarah's not a former player, but that's three Villa players at Leicester right now.
Yeah. Why are we letting them take them? why is
I'd
it going
take
on?
2 of them back. You know how I feel about Olivia. I really didn't want to see Sarah go. Right back to one of the places that we're currently weak.
Mm.
So why let your right back leave?
It just doesn't. It doesn't make sense, does it?
But there has to be a plan somewhere. Like you said, there has to be a plan somewhere to make decisions like that. It's confusing.
Natalia's going to come and play right back.
She's putting her boots on. She's ready.
She's play right back. Not right back in the changing room. She's going to play the proper position of right back.
Watch this space, everyone. Natalia's getting on the pitch. But yeah, I mean, there's teams doing incredible business. Liverpool have done some really good business this window. Sort of Leicester. I mean, Spurs have brought some great players, and that's the last thing we want to be. We don't want to fall behind again, because we know how much losing Dre and Kenza without replacing them hit us last season. So yeah, we don't want to be in that position again, do we? Especially when at the minute, mathematically we optimistically look safe and it's fine, but it's just nothing you can ever chance, is it, when we've still got a lot of games to go. So speaking of games, let's talk about the one at the weekend, shall we? So officially our cup runs for the season are over, thank God, with a 2-0 defeat to Arsenal. Now, we know this was going to be a tough ask. Last season we came to the 4th round, we got Bristol Rovers, who were an incredible side, and you know we still do love them and watch out for them. What an incredible team to play against. But of course, WSL versus WSL in this one. And we know Arsenal have been struggling up front. They have been struggling to score, but unfortunately, they found some magic against us, didn't they? So as the game started, there was that moment where Beth Mead, you know, she crossed and it hit the crossbar. Do we think it was a cross or was it a shot? What do you think?
I bet me cheeky enough to head a shot.
Because it just curled, didn't it? Just got the other edge of my boot and went. And why not? Why not? Because what I really noticed, obviously the Subway Cup semi-finals were on last night, and Arsenal were trying to do a bit of a Villa of trying to walk it into the back of the net. And it's just like, take that chance, which is what they did against us. Again, they can do it. But we wanted to shout out the star of the game, which was Ellie Roebuck. Lindsay, tell, for the people who maybe didn't watch, or it's been a few days since Sunday. Ellie Roebuck, why do we want to praise her performance tonight?
Well, we've seen, anybody that's seen the Millie Bryce and Rachel Daly podcast will know that Rachel was talking about Ellie before the game and how nervous she was, and it might be because she's not been having the minutes and there's a lot of pressure on her and she's quite nervous before the game. And Rachel's like, no mate, you'll be fine, go shine, doing really well. And as we've seen her through the season, she's come on leaps and bounds with her confidence. So there's a goalkeeper clearance which wasn't the best, and came back towards her. She came out really brave, really big. She's only small, but she was mighty. Came out brave, went for the ball. Unfortunately, Stina Blackstenius was coming the other way. Collided. Studs of Stina collided with here on her eyelid and got her open. At first, we all thought it's a concussion injury, and we were all really worried about her, thinking that she was like in a bit of a mess. I think we were quite relieved that it was not as serious as we first thought, although we were still very concerned. And Stina was straight over, and like she tried to pull out of it anyway, and was like straight over to Ellie to make sure it was okay. But the fact that she stayed on the ground, she had the support that she needed, all the aftercare, the medical care, and she carried on and played for the rest of the 90 minutes. And we talk about the attitudes of women footballers. And we know that if that had been in the men's game, they probably would have just come straight off. But Ellie, a testament to her character and her resilience and her personality, just carried on and played like a trooper. And some of those saves in that game, it didn't knock her confidence one bit. In fact, I think it made her more hungry, and she was just amazing. And I know Kim Little got player of the match, but player of the match for most of the fans was Ellie Road, but for her conduct, just exemplary conduct in representing everything that women's football is. So I'll wax lyrical all day about her, but I'm just so proud, and I'm so pleased that we've got a player with that kind of attitude in our team representing us, and it's just I won't get emotional, but I'm very pleased.
but it was quite emotional though, wasn't it? Because you've got someone who, everything she's been through to come back into the team, she's getting regular minutes, so she is getting that rotation, getting the exposure again. Because again, we had Lee Williamson saying about, smaller stadiums, you can really hear everything, and that could, if you're not in the right mindset, that could impact that. But yeah, just every save. I mean, for the second goal, I mean, even though it was a Kim little tap in for that one, she gets her hand to it, she's at the crossbar, she's the height she can get to make sure that she's tipping those balls over the top, and you just think that scoreline could have been so much higher if she wasn't on as top form as she is. Gary, have you got anything to add to that?
I agree completely. She was a complete warrior. The saves that she made during the game were fantastic, and definitely the sort of player you want to have in your squad.
Yeah, just tenacious. Because I remember, because we were live at the time, and as soon as she went down, we were like, oh god, like which part of Stina's foot's collided? And then from the first angle, it was like, oh, maybe she missed her. Maybe it was just like a precaution, she went down. And then you saw it on the replay, and it was just that trailing leg, wasn't it, that came over the top. And you just like, oh, the eye of all places is such a delicate bit. But yeah, thankfully she got up, she continued on, and just went about a weekend in London, posted pictures with this huge black eye, just like,
a fella's birthday, apparently, according to the podcast. Rachel Daly said that on the podcast, so I don't know if it's accurate or not.
Elliot put that on her Facebook or her Instagram as well. Right after she posted a selfie of herself with her black eye.
I hope there's a safeguarding referral on her. Poor I bet that was a shiner.
Oh, bless her. But yeah, the fact that she did, just like you said, Lindsay, she just went, yeah, I'm fine, let's keep going. And then she didn't shy away from any challenge.
Let me get on, I'm fine. I go, no, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. And she's there going, come on, I want to get on. And you could just see it.
I've got this fire now, come on, let's fight for it. But we did have a moment. So looking at the match stats, we knew we weren't going to be particularly getting too many chances, is what my brain was trying to say there. But we had 12 shots. We managed 12 shots, 2 on target. But Arsenal had 18 and 7, so again, just a couple more than us. Only managed about 15 touches in the opposition box. But yeah, just to confirm that, Ellie made five huge saves to deny Arsenal. But yeah, the best chance we had was, of course, from Rachel Maltby, wasn't it? And it was one of those moments where you could see it. I think it was Kirsty who crossed in. And you just think it lands to her feet, she's in a bit of space, and she just, as you would, I can get in the back of the net and I can do it. And just, you think, Gary, if she'd just realised how much time she had, then maybe that could have, because that would have been the only goal in that half if that had happened. So, I mean, but what an opportunity, though, for Rachel Maltby at such a young age.
Fantastic opportunity, and honestly, like, we all know how it felt whenever Maz left last season, and I really thought Maz was the stronger left back compared to Paula. But absolutely love Paula as well. She's literally walking sunshine. But for Rachel to come in the way she has, and she's more or less made that left side hers, and it's hard to believe she's only 18, 19, and it's like, she's been fantastic all season. She's not afraid to have a shot. But she has got one this season, hasn't she? I believe, and she's had a couple of other decent chances. And as you said, I think if she had realised that she had that little bit of time just to compose herself, that might have been her second goal of the season, you know?
And the roar from those travelling fans as well would have been insane if that would have gone in. Because there was a really good number that travelled, wasn't there? In that away corner. So shout out to everyone who did manage to travel down. Yeah, Kaju's put there. Why are Villa so inconsistent? Mate, once you find out, let us know. Because we don't know either.
Once you find out, can you let Villa know?
Yeah, exactly. Because we've got the same people, it's the same setup. So yeah, it's just
Being consistent. I mean, it's a vibe.
Yeah.
We're consistently
Exactly.
inconsistent.
Yeah. It makes it interesting. We don't know if we're going to win every week. We don't know if we're going to lose. Don't know if we're going to turn up. Who's going to turn up?
That's why Gary's
so
not aware. It's just the stress. It just keeps us addicted.
Gary, your response?
Sorry, I didn't hear it. My ears playing up on me a bit tonight.
Probably for the
But-
best.
Probably for the best. Yeah.
Possibly.
We'll get Lindsay back later. It's all good.
That's
Ah,
fine.
But Lindsay knows I'll get her back.
It's just, but yeah, just one more Ellie Roebuck save that put down to deny Wubben Moy as well from the corner. Wubben Moy's header that came in got her fingertips to it, and that was just again another moment where you're like, oh, I'm so glad you're wrinkled, so happy, and that she's back with that confidence to be there. So yeah, Rich Maltby, Cassie Hansen, just incredible during that first half, and then so get to half time 0-0. Feeling quite good about it. It could go either way. Yes, Arsenal have had more possession. They're dominating. They've had a few more attacks than us. But we still looked strong at that point, didn't we? And it was only when Arsenal then picked it up, switched it up a couple of gears, didn't they, in the second half. And Kim Little, when you've got Kim Little on the pitch, you just can't you can't disagree with the goal. So it was a lovely little run, wasn't it? She skipped through our midfield and defence, cuts back for Stina Blackstenius to convert in the 52nd minute, and a little bit of me thought, oh, it's only one, it's all right, we might have another chance, but of course they then get a second 10 minutes later, and that was the Kim Little one that we talked about earlier, when Ellie Roebuck did get a hand to it, but it just bounced awkwardly, didn't it? Came back out of the goal and straight to the feet of Kim. So it had to be a straight tap in. I think would be more surprised if it hadn't have gone in from that moment. But yeah, did we notice anything in the second half? Did we drop off slightly and become more defensive? Lindsay, what do you reckon?
I think heads dropped.
Has dropped a bit.
I think some of it is fitness levels. Just the disparity between the fitness levels of Arsenal and what we've got. We are getting so much better, but we just sometimes the concentration just slips. And I know we're playing younger players that maybe aren't as experienced compared to, if you look at the experience that they've got and the age that they've got, they've just got that extra little bit. But I think after that first goal went in, rather than them going, come on, let's go, like they would if Rachel Daly was on the pitch, the heads dropped. And then when that second one went in, it was almost like they just gave up, and it was like, girls, come on, you've got something to fight for. These people have travelled to support you. You know, come on, keep your heads up, keep fighting. And we were unlucky with that second goal, if we're honest. It was just unlucky. That first one was pure class, you can't argue with it. But the second one, we were unlucky for Maltby not to score, and it could have been 1-1 at that point. It could have been very different. So yeah, but they did have some hunger. We did kick on, we did push on, but it did feel a little bit flat. And like I said, missing Rachel Daly on the pitch to try and motivate and keep that focus. I know we've got players on the pitch that are leadership material, but sometimes it takes someone like Rach to come in and go, come on guys, let's keep going.
Yeah, to have a really big shout and be like, right, come on, we need to go now, because DeLond came on at half time for Richard Maltby. Georgia Mullet came on, got minutes on for Missy Borkans, and we finally got to see Oriane Jean-Francois at the weekend as well. Gary made a name for herself straight away. Yellow card within about 20 seconds. What do you think?
I thought that, yeah, it was. But that probably puts her right up there with like Mary Taylor and Lynn Wilms and Moritz,
Yeah.
just one of these players that isn't afraid to get stuck in and yeah, has this wee shelf at home with all her different cards collected on there.
You can tell who she eats dinner with in the canteen, can't you?
Yeah, they've all got. Oh, bet you could get a yellow card as soon as you come on. Yeah, proper Villa material. So like Kachu said earlier, take care of Oriane, please. She is a great player. Yeah, we're excited. We're excited to see what more we can see from her. When she's not cautiously on a on a yellow card.
She is a fantastic player. Probably needs to spend a wee bit of time learning how to head the ball. But that was the only negative thing that I could say about her in the match, It
Yes.
was potentially it could have been one of her better chances, even better than Rachel's. Just if the header had been on target, but alas, it wasn't. We just didn't take our chances. And yeah, good luck to Arsenal.
She was
I
excited.
was kind of hoping that Arsenal might have done us a favour last night and like took United in the extra time to make them tired before playing us on Sunday.
Would have been nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But that was that you. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it at the end. But United, the way they're playing at the minute is like just really boring defensive football without any attacks. I think they had about what was it like 7 touches in the opposition box or something against Arsenal, and Arsenal had like 50 something. And again, it was a bit of luck that they got their goal and went to the next round. So yeah, hopefully this weekend we can really stick it to them and really go for it. But yeah, just bizarre, really bizarre. Right then, I did get a bit distracted there with this one. So Mullet, Maltby, and Kendall, young players have been highlighted by this high energy system that Royals playing, which allows them to shine. Yes, that's why I wanted you guys to get top four so she could get manager of the year. I would love us to get to top four. That would be quite nice. But again, it's that consistency. It's the consistency that we're lacking at the moment. So we talked about new transfer Jean-Francois. Of course, we couldn't see Jenna Nyswanger because we were playing against Arsenal, so she's yet to make her debut. However, we had another substitution, and this was in the 71st minute, where Noelle went off for Ebony. Now, clearly a very attacking change. Already 2-0 down, why not? Go for it. But it really highlighted Ebony, and we've said it for a while now that she's lacking in confidence, but I think Sunday really highlighted that to the max, unfortunately. Just really couldn't get her feet right, looked absolutely shot of confidence. So we've talked about possibly would a loan move be better for her, just so she's got that rhythm and she gets those chances, and not so much pressure as well, so she can rebuild. Lindsay, what do you think should happen next? Because is this still the right environment for her?
This is the thing.
It's hard, isn't it?
She's a good player, and when she gets it, when it all clicks, she's fantastic. She's quick and everything. And we've seen when she first came, she was getting there, she was getting to the right places, but she wasn't doing the end product when it was on target or the cross, or she was making the wrong decision, and it's still not there. And I don't know if a loan would be the right thing for her, or whether some mentorship from one of the other players would be a good thing for her. When she's got stuff going on in her personal life, you just don't know the players. But a loan, if we go down the loan avenue, just for argument's sake, it would be an opportunity for a fresh start for her, so that she can wipe the slate clean. She can go in, and it might be that the playing style of that club is more suitable for her, and she can get that confidence and come back and be another player like we saw with Kirsty Hansen, who was struggling at United. She came to us. We turned her into something absolutely phenomenal. I mean, we got to keep her, which is even better. But the player now is because of the Villa structure, and it suits her better than at United. And it might be something like that is more suited for her. I'm not saying it is, but there's definitely a performance anxiety for her. if we're getting at this point and she's not delivering, because realistically she's had enough time to prove herself, but she's not quite hit the mark. And
No.
I don't want
Yeah.
to have to get rid of a player because that's just hating a player for no reason. But something needs to give, whether it's working around. So there's a lot of players, especially in the men's team, that I've followed that suffer with performance anxiety. And quite a few goalkeepers that have suffered really bad with it, and they've gone through periods where they've been absolutely appalling. They've had some psychological input, and they come back and they're back in the England team, and they're the players of the year. So it might be something like that would be beneficial as well. Like, the club will know the best thing, but a loan is potentially a really good option, and also some input around psychological performance might also help her, so that when she gets the ball in the right place, she can make the right decision. Because we hate to see players think. As fans, we don't want them to fail, we want them to succeed. So that's how I see it, as a nice point. But like you said, it's come to a point now where it's very evident that it's not working, and it's what decision is made in the player's best interest. Does she move on? Does she stay?
Yeah, and that's again why we want to talk about it, because it's not to slay it on a player or anything like that. It's very much to say, is Ebony okay? Is she getting what she needs? Are the club giving her what she needs? And if a loan is the best option, then it's not any slight on her. It's just maybe a bit of time away, different environment, different people. Would that be better at this moment in time? Because I know Sunderland need a striker, so if she wants to go there, because they really need help at the moment. Mel Ray did a press conference and she was like, "Yeah, we're hoping to, we're in talks with one player, one." So that's going to be interesting. So if Ebony does fancy a little travel to the northeast for a couple of months, I think that would be a great shout. But yeah, Gary, same for you. Do you think?
The thing for me is, like, whenever you heard Rachel speaking about Ireland Seas, obviously Rachel spoke on her own podcast after she got her first goal of the season. She had also been going through a bit of a drought, and she spoke then about how much it does affect you mentally.
Yeah.
I think the only thing for Rach was why she kept getting played, because obviously she's the club captain, and she offers a lot more, because obviously Rachel's very strong defensively. She'll cover every blade of grass, and that's not Ebony.
Yeah.
But her playing style is very much getting the ball and running and trying to scare defenders, because she's so rapid.
Yeah.
And she's not afraid to have a shot. She scored some really nice goals at the start of the season.
Yeah.
But I think if she goes out on loan, that's probably her leaving the club. And it's
maybe.
But it's because, like Lindsay was saying, if she goes somewhere else and wipes the slate clean and has success at another club that has a playing style that suits her, then it's probably going to be similar to how we got to keep Kirsty. So will that other club potentially go, you know what, you've done really well here and we would like to sign you? And it'll be a loss because she's young, she has a talent, but if you have strikers that aren't scoring and you have the youth that's sort of biting at their heels, you kind of have to look at who's hungry and who's maybe going to get you those goals. And unfortunately, right now, Ebony has all the talent on her feet, but her confidence is just shot. And perhaps the psychology that Lindsay was speaking about really would help her.
Yeah.
But it's ultimately going to be the club's decision.
That block. Yeah. And again, you just want the best for the player at the end of the day, don't you? So, so whatever does happen, we just hope that she is okay and she is getting the best support for her. So it then finishes 2-0. I think probably getting towards the end of the game, we weren't having that many more chances, and we're just kind of like, okay, don't let any more in. Which, as we've said, with Roebuck in goal, was not gonna happen. But yeah, Arsenal are through into the 5th round, and they are going to go up against Bristol City. Another home game. Starting to Getting a bit suspicious with this one. But yeah, I mean, if we had got through and we were the same ball number, for example, Bristol would have been quite a nice one, wouldn't it? Haven't seen them for a little while. Bristol City, I will say, not Rovers. But yeah, last time we went to Ashton Gate, we won. Sounds quite nice. So maybe we could have repeated it. But yeah, have you all seen the 5th round draw? Do you think there's going to be any good fixtures? Or would you like me to run through them?
I'd like you to run through them, please.
I can do that. Thank you very much. So we've got Man City versus Sheffield, Liverpool Everton in the Merseyside derby. We've got Chelsea Man United, Oxford United versus Charlton. I think that's going to be a good one. West Ham versus Brighton, London City versus Spurs, Birmingham City versus Chatham Town. Now, Chatham are the lowest ranking side, still left in the competition. So I think everyone should turn into a Chatham Town supporter for the rest of the competition. And then Arsenal versus Bristol City was the final one. So yeah, anything jump out there for anyone?
There's actually a couple of games that sound pretty good there.
Indeed.
The Merseyside derby. I think the Oxford match could be really interesting.
Yes, because Charlton, of course,
Chelsea Man United has to have some edge to it.
Well, it's a preview of the Sub Cup final, isn't it? So
it is.
We'll see who's out for blood in in that one. So I'm really looking forward to Birmingham versus Chatham Town. I think that I might try and go to that one. That could be quite nice. Although if we all turn up in our village round. I was going to say that. I think I might get kicked out, Gary. I might get kicked out. We'll all buy some Chatham scarves for the weekend, and we'll go and support. But yeah, some really good matches coming up, and I believe they're on the 22nd of February for those who want to join in, where the prize money goes up to £80,000 for the winner and £20,000 for the losing team. Which, even if you think, Chatham getting 20,000 if they don't beat Birmingham, that's life-changing money, isn't it, for clubs in the lower tiers. So best of luck to them in the next round. Right then. So let's have a look. This weekend then, of course, back in league action. It's a bit spread out this weekend because Friday night we've got Everton Brighton at 7:00. Saturday you've got the match of the weekend, standout Saturday match, Chelsea versus Arsenal, and then you've got the rest of us on Sunday, all kicking off at 11:55, which is always fun. So Villa are hosting Man United, but before we get into predictions, Villa have started to try and enhance the match day experience, haven't they? So this Sunday, as a Baller FC, come in to do this quiz.
Mastermind quiz, isn't it, with Baller FC?
Yes, they're bringing that to Villa Park, and there's also something else. There's going to be a DJ. Have I made that up?
I haven't read the TI yet. I'm really behind. Apologies, Aston Villa. Sorry. Rubbish fan. I haven't got around to doing it. I've sent it everybody that I'm bringing to the game. So I'm bringing bums on seats, but I haven't read the pre-bit. But I know it's going to be University Challenge, but I saw Manchester Uni versus Birmingham Unis, and I was like, oh, controversial. Which Birmingham University have they chosen? Because there's when me and you were at uni, there was a big fallout about the branding of certain universities, and I was like, oh, can I get alongside with this? So I try not to read it so I don't get rage, but I'll read it on Saturday, I promise. So whoever's in response for marketing, apologies, but I will read it Saturday so I have time to calm down before Sunday.
But yeah, because
I think it only makes sense whenever you're at Aston, it has to be the Aston University.
Yeah, but which one?
Because that's the thing, there are so many universities.
And there's my ignorance. I knew there was 2 Birmingham universities, but I didn't know there was 2 Aston ones as well.
There's BCU, isn't there? And then there's Aston. Well, I think Aston rebranded as BCU, but Aston University is still going. Then there's Arden University, I think, and then there's another one, and then there's a college
A
that is
conservatoire as well.
and then you've got all the other little branches off, as well as University of Birmingham, which obviously is the top tier university because me and Freya went there. So it's obviously top tier. No offense to anybody else. Come fight me. So yeah, there are quite a few universities. So I was quite interested to see how it was picked and whether Baller FC were in charge of it or Villa were, and it was their outreach team. So I was quite interested to find out on Sunday how they've done that, because I think it's great that they've got people on board. I've got no problem with that, but it's just interesting to see, because the marketing was so vague. I was like, what have they done here? So it'd be interesting to see how that is delivered.
Well, because that's the thing as well. So I'm reading the press release for it, and there was a little video that the Matchday Masterminds had done, just saying exactly the same thing. Universities will answer questions, blah blah blah. Come and see us, and that was it. And then under United, universities will put themselves against each other in Matchday Masterminds to see who comes out on top. Join the pre-match challenge. Okay, how? How? When? What time? What's going on?
I think there was a link on one of the socials, but I'm not sure which post it is. But there is a link on one of them to follow it.
It's a
the pre-match challenge, but I haven't clicked on it.
Oh, okay.
I was raging.
Or just be in the lower grounds at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it's 10:30. I think it opens, but yeah.
No, it's 10 o'clock for that one, I think.
Even better.
Okay. It's early, isn't it, for Sunday?
Well, last week the entertainment started at 11:15, or the last home match was like 11:15.
It was too late.
But this one,
haven't you?
this one in near certain is starting at like 10 o'clock.
I think there's more going on though with this one, whereas the last one there wasn't. It's not that there wasn't as much going on. I think that this one, because there's more people involved in it, it needs that little bit extra time to deliver it. Whereas before, we just had Susie running around interviewing people, which is fantastic, but she could, manage that in a short period of time. Whereas with this, if they're going to be doing the questions and stuff, they've got to build the atmosphere, ask the questions, and then get a winner.
Oh, hospitality. I'm going to have to, because we all went for hospitality. Do you remember, like last season at some point, we're all going to go, and then it got cancelled because
the game got cancelled.
Yes.
That was the Arsenal match.
It was, yeah. We're gonna have to try next time Arsenal are here, which I think is in April. We're gonna have to go. But yeah, I'm trying to find anything more on it, but it's very vague, and that brings us back to the point at the beginning about the injuries. Everything's just very like, we'll give you a little bit, but we won't actually say anything. And even about the announcement about the 12th player challenge that happened, that was very much this is the thing we're doing. Look out for it, and it still wasn't anything really. So it's if you're gonna tell us something, like I'd rather not know. If you're not gonna tell me, like just
do it.
Yeah, just do it. Just tell us.
They just opened the door, cracked, threw out a piece of meat, and slammed the door.
It's very breadcrumbing, isn't it? It's like, we're doing this, but we're not going to tell you anything about it, and then we're just gonna. It's almost like you said, it's about being an afterthought, isn't it? And it's like, you have the opportunity, you have this platform. Think of the vast amount of people that follow you on socials. You have this ability to market what you're doing. If you're trying to make it a match day experience, you're trying to get more people in, and you want more bums on seats, use the facilities that you've got, like the social media, the TikTok, the reels, the Instagram. Like, use those opportunities to get things involved. Use the players to advertise at events, if that's allowed in their contract, and get people involved, rather than just going, oh, we're going to do this, which is a side point. It just feels like it's not. It's the motive's there, but the momentum and the meat isn't on the bones, and they just need to put that meat on the bones, and then that'll be there. So even like with the injuries that we're talking about, it's the same thing with that. Like, they're telling us, but they're telling us too late, and it's like, we want to get excited, we want to be involved, we want to know. And whilst we appreciate we're not allowed to know everything, because that would be wrong, at least make us feel valued and give us something. We're the ones that buy the shirts, we're the ones that buy the season tickets, we're the ones that come along, we travel up and down the country at really antisocial times. Make us feel part of it. and it doesn't feel.
Because we want to be part of it, yeah.
It just still feels really cold, and we need it to be warm. And we know that they're doing a lot of work with the fan forum, which is fantastic.
Yes.
But we need that energy from the fan forum to transfer into the marketing and the socials, and then use those platforms. You know, that's what we should be doing. And if they've got time to do TikToks about random things, then they've got the time to invest in.
Got the time to put into this, yeah.
And just as a shout, they've like Villa, the men's team have released for Bree Monday on Monday. They've released a piece, a really emotive piece on mental health, men's mental health, an hour's chat with two former players talking about what they've been through. One is a survivor of cancer, one is a survivor of mental health issues. And it's like, you've got time for the men on the men's side to do that with former players and stuff. Use your resources to do whatever it is that's relevant to the women's team. For the women's team, like, you're putting all this money into the men's media, but nothing into the women's, and you want the women's to grow. You want it to be performing. Shove it in, but maybe I'm just. I'll get my soapbox.
No, but it's right though, because you know, some people will argue like, yeah, men bring the revenue in and blah blah blah. Yeah, but the women's are bringing the revenue in as well. Where, you know, if you look at the Deloitte list that came out, we were 5th.
We're quite high up, yeah.
We were quite high. So even if it's just a fraction of what the men's get, you know, we're not saying we're equal yet. You know, one day, yes, we'd love to get there. Of course we would. But give us something to be able to grow, and then we can run with it. But we can't do it with nothing. Is what we're trying to say. But 10:30 lower grounds for that match day masterminds thing. But that's all I can tell you. I can't fucking do anything else about it. That's all. So hopefully, I mean, it's Thursday. Probably should know by now. Probably Saturday night they'll be like, "Hey, this is how you get involved," and then wonder why no one's there.
It'll be a QR code that'll come out on Sunday morning.
Yeah,
they do love the QR codes.
They do love QR code. Yes, they do. They do agree. I was going to ask you as well though, because they're doing. They're trying to make it, and I know Maggie Murphy's talked about it at the fan forums and things. They want to make the matchday experience much better, don't they? So for the 5 remaining home games, which sounds mad, that's only 5 left. So there's matchday masterminds this weekend versus Man United. Then they've got match mates for the Spurs game, which is your bring a friend game. For the City match in March, the Long Story Short pod is going to be there with Jill Scott and Karen Carney. That's a good one. Underground Fan Club, 26th of April. Have they told us what that is? Is that just the opening the lower grounds?
I think that's actually
for the match.
I'm sure it's an actual fan club. Is that the Guinness one?
Yeah.
Because the Guinness is they've got sponsorship to the men's team, so I don't know if that's just the fan club that is men's or men's that's come to the women's, or whether it's like a fan club like Baller FC type thing. It's the same thing, and they're just bringing Guinness. I haven't looked into this properly, so I'm actually winging it. But you know, this is the thing where they're trying most of us haven't heard of everything, you know, outside of the people that work in PR. But I'm sure it'd be great. We'll go.
I might get a taxi to that match, you know.
I was going to say you.
I'll pick you up. I'll pick you up.
Well, so it says, Underground Fan Club presented by Guinness, an unmissable warm-up fan experience, bringing together players, pundits and personalities to celebrate the communities at the heart of women's football culture. Let's make it a lovely day to be a villain. Okay. So people will be there. That's what I'm getting from that. And then final home game of the season. It's party time, apparently. And that is again in collaboration with Baller FC. They'll be throwing a post-match wrap party for the Claret and Blue Army to celebrate the squad, fans and club alike. So there we go. With a big asterisk, this can all change. So there we go.
Yes, that's me, Barry. Yeah. We're not invited.
We're always invited, Lindsay.
We are the fun,
First on the guest list, you two, right? So do we think it's moving in the right direction? Now there's actually something happening at every home game, and it's not just turn up, there might be a burger van.
It's definitely.
I think it's really positive. I love what they're doing to try and get more engagement.
Yeah.
The club in some aspects are making positive steps, but there's obviously other places that we would like a wee bit more. Say,
Yes.
like currently in the transfer market.
I don't know what you mean. It's too good. But no, I completely agree. Lindsay, were you going to say something there as well?
I was just going to say, I think we're stepping in the right direction. I think it's more the execution of things around communication and utilising what they've got. So rather than trying to add to it, perfect and polish what they've got and then move forward. But I think it's great with the things that they're bringing in. It brings us in line with things that are going on, like with London City, that they're trying to do to give their club character. And I do think it's great. Well, don't look at me like that, Freya. We don't slag people off. They are trying to bring character and identity to London City. Like how they do that, I don't know. That's another discussion which we won't do because we'll get things. But I can see what they're doing, and it's a really good thing to see. It's not just like you said, a burger van in the corner, and do you want to buy a shirt or something like we had at Bescar. It is, really, really good. And the fact that we can use the lower grounds before a game is amazing because it's a really good meeting point. It's warm, it's accessible, the toilets are nice. It's not nasty. It's a really nice place to be, and I think it's all going to come. I just think it needs a little bit more to kind of fluff it up a bit and make it just the execution just that little bit better. And if they do that, it'll be there because it's not that they're not trying. I just think that it's not clicking quite right with how they need to deliver.
It's the finer details. Yes. You could say that's reflective of the team as well.
They actually don't do a burger fan either. Maybe they should bring a burger fan.
I thought there was a burger fan. Is a burger fan now doing candy floss? I mean, I can't eat it anyway, so...
That's a cop-out.
I know whenever you're in the concourse, I've yet to see a burger in the concourse. It's all hot dogs and curry chips and pies and...
Frozen chips. We need to have a fan forum. We need to praise that those chips are never cooked. They're always frozen when we go.
Yeah, can we transport the Bescott chips?
Yeah, Bescott chips are great.
The different vendors use different chips, though. They're not all the same ones.
Is there a tier of chips?
It appears to be that, although it's all in Villa Park, it's obviously different vendors that have came in and probably renting that space on match day. So they're probably responsible for what they're bringing in.
I tell you what, on Saturday, we'll go round and we'll mark them all out of 10 and we'll decide who's the best chips.
I'm pretty sure they're not going to be open on Saturday.
That's what I said Sunday because I corrected myself because I'm it's been a long day, Gary. I've been working since 3 o'clock. Just leave me alone.
Just knocking on the shutters, please.
But Lindsay, it was me that had to wake you up this morning, whenever I was already in work.
I know, but I'm a lightweight.
Talking to me about long days, and I was awake 3 hours before she was.
That's why.
She's just a whinge bag, isn't she, Gary? That's what it is.
To be fair, she probably had something to whinge about a couple of days ago because I sent her a podcast, quite literally.
Oh.
I came out of my job and had maybe about half an hour's worth of voice notes from Lindsay. So I was listening to them while I was driving down the road, all these individual voice notes.
Yeah.
And then I just sent her one that was like 35 minutes long.
The best one was when she used to send them to me on Instagram, and you could only send about an hour. No, it's about
3
a minute and a half.
3 minutes. It's 1 minute. I went to 3 minutes. I'll send you about 10.
3 minutes. And I was on site trying to dig, and I'd get like ding, 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 it comes through. And I was like, this is going to take me an hour to listen to. And then I had to play them all individually because they wouldn't autoplay. And then the ones that I had listened to wouldn't change colour. So if I lost where I was, I just got to the point where I was like, I can't. Please summarise this.
I can't type.
No,
well,
which is fine.
My voice note. Everybody gives me stick for it. You're meant to be inclusive, you lot. It's disability inclusion.
We are inclusive. We're including you in the piss taking.
At least I own it.
You do. You own it well.
You do.
Send you a podcast
Everyone gets
later.
equal treatment here. Oh, I love it. And this is why everyone needs to be part of the fan club, because we're all one big happy family, which is really good to see.
Yes.
Right then, so let's talk about United, shall we? So, game at the weekend, United again are on good form, but they are one place ahead of us in the table. So currently, as it stands, Villa are best of the rest in sixth place on 16 points, with Man United in fifth place on 22 points. So there's very much the top five and the rest of us. I say that though, there's probably the top five, the next four, and then there's the bottom four as well, I'd probably say. So yeah, so the gap's very, very obvious between teams. However, I mean, they've scored more, they've conceded less, so I can't really tell you any good stats there. But ultimately, like we were saying before, they're not winning by huge margins. And I know they've brought in some quite exciting players. I mean, Leah Schuler is brilliant. Vangerheim, like Kachua's put in the chat as well. She's settling in, looks really great. Lundqvist as well. So yeah, probably the manager, who we won't go into. It's the players that are getting these results. we do want to say that, and we know they're going to be a good matchup again, aren't they? So, Lindsay, how are you feeling ahead of this weekend against United? Because it's always a feisty one, isn't it?
It's always a feisty one, and it's always one where there should be cards, and there either are lots of cards or there aren't enough cards, and we moan about the refereeing. I'm excited. I'm excited to see their new signings and how they settle into how they're playing, because, like you said, they're quite a defensive team. They play a bit like the Villa of men of the 90s. They're very defensively strong. Not as much as exciting up front, which Villa of men of the 90s actually was exciting. But it'd be interesting to see how they settle on. It'd be also interesting to see how we play. Bear in mind how we played at Arsenal, see our new signings, see how they settle in, and yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it'll be a close one, but I think it'll be a scrappy one, which it always is against them. It's always scrappy, and I just hope nobody comes out with any injuries. We've got enough.
Exactly, yeah. No more injuries, please. Bubble wrap for everyone. Gary, how you feeling about this weekend?
Well, obviously, it's going to be a very different game. United had went through their phase at the start of the season where they were undefeated.
Yes.
I know how that ended whenever they did actually play against us.
Yes.
Yeah. So, we took the 3 points then, but as for what's happened in the transfer market over the last couple of weeks and sort of the inclusive that United have brought in themselves, although they're still very defensive, there's a couple of sort of players there that we're not quite sure how they're maybe going to fit in the Man United system right now. So it's going to be something for Natalia to sort of try and get her head round and try and be able to counteract.
Yeah.
When it comes to managers, I would have a lot more faith in Natalia than I would a certain Mr. Skinner. But with us not having many strikers, we're also strong defensively, and they're strong defensively. It's going to be one of those games that probably one goal's going to take it.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's going to be tight, because even we know we're not Arsenal, but it was Arsenal United last weekend. No, weekend before, sorry. And Arsenal had 25 shots. Man United only had 4. So. And that did end goalless between the two of them, and there was even a red card in that one. So I think it's going to be incredibly tight. I think is it going to be a mistake or magic is the question we always ask as well. And you just think, what could this mean? Because obviously, if we do win, which would be incredible, it wouldn't really put us on 19 points. So still 3 points behind them, but it would close that gap a little bit more. But I think United, again, they've got a bit of grit, haven't they? They've got that bit of tenacity, and I think they've definitely got some players, as much as we have, that aren't scared of a tackle or 5 and putting 2 feet through the opponent. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really, really interesting one. and I wish I was there to come and see it. Alas, I shall have to wait a bit longer to come to a game with you all again this season. But yeah, I think it'd be a good one. But because they're all kicking off at the same time, that'll be another Sky multi-view job, with the 11:55 slot, and yeah, it's always, I don't know if either of you watch it on multi-view rather than just like the one stream, but because they're choosing what to zoom in on, and when it was the Villa Brighton game and hardly anything was happening, Georgie was like, "Have they shown Villa yet?" It's like, no, no, not really. So you only get about 4 minutes, depending on what's actually going on in the match, and the rest of it is just either Chelsea or City. That's the big one all of the time. So hopefully it's an interesting match that I see a bit more of them on the big screen. But yeah, good. Anything else about either the match against Arsenal or United that we haven't mentioned yet that anyone wants to shout out?
I think so. I think we've probably covered all bases, unless
I think that's pretty much everything,
anybody
isn't it?
does want to have a stab at a prediction.
Oh. It's going to be
It's a
like a
tough one
1-1.
to call.
Like a 1-1 or a 1-0. I can't see there being goals in this one, to be honest.
I agree. I think it's going to be similar. It's going to be a 0-0 or a 1-0.
It's going to be a lapse
Sure.
of concentration, isn't it? That's going to
Don't
lead
say
to
that, 'cause it's probably going to be us.
Funny you say that. I just hope that we don't do what happened the last one, where we had Sabs under pressure the whole first half.
Mm.
You know, if we do that, it's unfair on Sabs. We have to make sure that we keep a strong back line, because it's a fantastic a goalkeeper she is. If you're making things easy for the opposition,
Mm.
as we've seen, things can go wrong and you can't concede. So, you know, it is largely about keeping a strong defence and making sure we protect Sabs as much as we can.
That's
You
right.
obviously can't give them an inch, because they'll just literally
No.
just take you. It's
Yeah.
the WSL
Yeah,
is
they
so
go straight through it.
brutal. Like one mistake and you get punished, and especially by that caliber of team, like you're just going to get absolutely destroyed. And
We all
don't
know
see-
United have players that can't hurt us. You know, as much as we talk about how strong defensively they've been and they haven't scored many goals, they do have players that can't score goals.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what Leah Schuler, her career, it's just goals everywhere. Liz Turland, mainly before she came to United, but you know, she's a threat. They've got Mala, they've got, you know, and you just think they've got so many players. Jess Park as well. She's a little firecracker that you just can't. Again, you can't like grab. She's here, there, and everywhere. So they've got, like you said, Gary, they've got so many players that can do damage. It's just up to us to keep on it, and not switch off, which we have been known to do. So Villa defense, if you are watching, please don't, in this moment. So yeah, so if we win, which would be great, we'll stay in sixth, but that gap would lessen between us and United. Spurs still in fourth, same points as Arsenal in third, which fair play to Spurs for still being up in and amongst those Champions League positions. I mean, Spurs in Europe would be incredible, because it's a different name, isn't it? It's not the usual ones time and time again. So hey, I'm all for that. All right then. The last thing we were going to talk about, Lindsay, was actually going to over to you, because as much as we are growing in the women's game and we're getting more attention and getting more credit, as we should, there are still some parts of maybe more grassroots sport, where girls' football is still a bit of an afterthought, isn't it? So yeah, do you want to talk about this story from the week?
Yes, this is a bit where I get on my soapbox, so apologies everybody. So
Oh, you go.
I remember, like, when I was playing football, like, girls had to fight to, be given opportunities, and it just didn't exist like it does today. And we've had the Euros, we've won it twice back to back, and you think of all the progress we've made and how the viewing figures and the gate figures at the WSL games and WSL2 games, improving the academy options for girls. Like I see on my Facebook feed loads of my friends' children that are in the academies and they're getting all these opportunities. And
Amazing.
I wish I had those, but I'm so pleased for them. And then I have stories like this land in my inbox, written by the BBC, about South Morningside Primary School that won the Edinburgh Schools Cup in the summer. And, you know, you've got a team of 10 to 12-year-old girls, very impressionable, you know, they're very passionate about what they're doing, and they fought hard to win a Schools Cup because you don't win those easy. And they get presented with a plastic cup, which, to quote the player, if I can find it, that one of the players said, I was very upset and we were thinking we were not good enough. Yet the boys that have been presented on the same day, that played their final on the same day, they got a massive cup. And you just think, you know, why is this going on in today's day and age? Surely it should be equal. And the BBC spoke to the president of the Edinburgh Schools Association type thing, and he said he felt quite embarrassed about giving the girls the cup. And I was like, so if you were quite embarrassed about giving the girls the cup, why did you do that in the first place? And then he went out and spent £1,600 on getting them a nice little trophy, which they absolutely deserved, and presented it them this week, I think it was, in January, but the event was in the summer. So when we talk about progress in the women's game, I do think there's still a long way to go, and it's great seeing the opportunities that are happening, the clubs are doing, but also I think at a lower level, at the grassroots level, it's almost like there's a little gap still. There's still this chasm where we're still stuck in when me and you, Freya, were playing when we were younger. It was still stuck in that generation. It's like that investment needs to trickle down, and also the attitudes, which are the main problem, need to change. And not be like, oh, the girls are an afterthought, giving them a plastic cup, a little tiny plastic cup, the dads get a big one. You know, their whole school turned out to support them, and or their school year turned out to support them, and they got given a plastic cup that you would get at Tesco's for £1 on a 3 for 2. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So big shout out to the girls, because they wrote to the organisers and they weren't happy about it. You know, you've got 10 to 12-year-old girls writing to the organisers saying, we don't feel happy about this, we don't feel, you know, it's fair on us. You know, the fact they have to advocate for themselves, you know, it's amazing what they've done, and I'm enamoured by their passion. It's amazing, but it shouldn't have had to happen in the first place. But the fact that they challenged it and they won, and then it got rectified is fantastic. So it's a long game win, but I'm hoping going forward the attitudes around Schools Cup will change in that area. But it just shows you how far we've got to come. And it's great that the girls are so passionate and they've been heard, which is what we wouldn't have had happen to us. But it's sad that it's still happening, and it's like, we need to come into 2026 now, guys. Like, so much has happened, we can't be there. So there's lots of work we have to do around women's football, and which is why we've got Her Game too, and some of the other organisations. But it's just really sad to see that. So if you Google South Morningside Primary and BBC article, you'll be able to read the full article. But well done those girls for standing up for what they believed in. And you're definitely a mini version of me. So continue it and don't give up on your dreams, because you guys are going to go places.
Yeah, and like you said, it's very much you know, if the lads have always had this cup and that's just the cup that they've always had in this competition, fine, get the same one for the girls, or get a very similar one. And you just think, if you're, it's a bit like when we talk about the Ballon d'Or, introducing the female categories, it was just a tick box. I hadn't really thought about it. You know, there wasn't really a trophy. It was like still in a box, wasn't it? Or it was backstage, and it was all a mess for the women's side, because they were like, you know, they'll be fine, they'll accept it. And that's very much the way it was years ago. And even if, you know, we had have written a letter, they probably wouldn't have read it years ago. So the fact that now that there's that progression, they have gone, oh, actually, yeah, that is a bit embarrassing, we should probably get a new cup. That's shown progress, which is fantastic. But it's the issue of, why did they get given it in the first? Who thought that was acceptable in
And
the
why did
first
it take
place?
so long to rectify it if they were embarrassed by giving it in the first place? You could
Yeah.
say we're not going to give you a cup, girls, because we're going to go out and buy you a new. We're going to go buy a new one, and we're going to present it you not today
Yeah.
because it's not ready, and we're going to get
Yes.
it when it's ready, or come up with some excuse of the cup's been delayed in transit or whatever, and then go and buy one, and then first week back at school,
Yeah.
go, right, girls, here you go, well done, congratulations, get it resolved September. Sorted, job's good, or by the
Yeah.
end of the school year, depending on timing and everything, get it sorted. It shouldn't be in January that it's happening. Like that just
No.
shows a lack of respect for what
Yes.
they've achieved. They won't do it to the boys, so why are they doing it to the girls?
Exactly.
But you know what I'm like with all this.
No, but that's good, and that's why we need to keep talking about it, because that's what brings about change. The discussion and pointing it out and people realizing, because there are some people who will just kind of plod along in life and not really realize what their actions are doing, or they won't question anything because that's the way it's always been done. So they need other people to bring it to their attention. So they go, "Oh yeah, I should probably change that." And that is where, pods like this and us talking about the big things in women's football can hopefully make some difference as well. So yeah, want to shout that out. So thank you, Lindsay, for sharing that with us. Because you're right, change needs to happen. And we can't get stuck in the dark ages. We've been there, we've done that. Women's football deserves to see the light. And I think what a good way to wrap up the evening. So thank you everyone who has got involved in the chat. We love to hear your thoughts. So please do come back and do get involved in the future. We are live every Thursday at 8 o'clock with all the latest Villa news. You can find us across more socials at Part Pride Pod, or part of the Pride Pod, depending on the letters it allowed me to have. But of course, we are in partnership with the Hall 115 Yards and the Villa, I forgot what it was called then, the Villa Women's Fan Club as well, which you can find again across all socials. So yeah, do give us a like, share, follow, subscribe, whatever you need to do. We're still trying to get those 100 subscribers, so please do. If you haven't already on YouTube, click that subscribe button. So yeah, we will leave you there for tonight. Have a lovely rest of your evening, and hopefully we're back next week talking about 3 points against Manchester United. So good evening, everyone. Thank you, and good night. Goodbye.